The following program is brought to you by His Productions.
The podcast no one listens to, with Kevin Porter. Nice.
Oh, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to an all-new episode of the podcast that no one listens to. I'm your host, Kevin Porter, and we are back for another week that was my life, your life, and everyone's life. Because you know what we do? You know what we do as human beings? We live a fucking life. That's what we do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, dude. As you can see, Mother Nature has completely blessed us here in the sense that there is no wind. Barely a small breeze. I can feel in the back of my neck right here. But, dude, we are totally able to finally sit outside and record an episode. Dude, I'm so excited. So excited, dude. It's July. This is like my favorite time of the year, dude. Summer, when it just gets hot. It's the evenings are wonderful. You can just go sit outside and drink a beer, smoke a joint, smoke a cigar, whatever, man. You can just totally enjoy the night away, dude. So I've just been trying to chill lately, dude. I've just been trying to fucking hang out, get my mind together, just be like, all right, man. You know, there are better days ahead, dude. There are better days, man. I'm like really coming out of like just kind of like a fucking full blown like definitely COVID blues, bro. Definitely the COVID blues. But I attribute my mental kickback up. It's a kickback. Well, it's like, no, that's when you give me money. Give me money and I'll give you ad space. What? That's a kickback? Oh, okay. How about you give me money, I do your commercial, then you hook me up with a birthday cake? That's called a kickback. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know, man. I just credit to exercise, dude. Like, I don't know. I just knew it. It was like, once I get off my ass, push myself, sweat, I'm going to fucking feel better. And guess what? That and a little bit of marijuana, I am feeling so much better this week, dude. I was like, oh, shit, we got to record an episode this week. I don't know. I just got generally excited, dude. It's like, I don't know. It feels good. It feels good to be a motherfucking gangster. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We're fucking hanging out, dude. I've been playing a lot of video games this week, dude. Got back into playing my Super Nintendo, my Sega Genesis. Busted out Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario Land. I was playing Sonic 2. Fuck, dude. I got Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but I didn't play that. I played a lot of... Actually, I finally feel like I figured out Mortal Kombat. For like the, you know, back in the day on the Genesis, like it's, dude, I just always sucked at that game. I'm like way better at Street Fighter, but fucking I figured that shit out, dude. I figured it out, and I think we even talk about it on today's podcast, so maybe I won't go into too much detail in regards to that, but I finally feel like I figured out that video game. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to live the best life possible. Things are starting to open up back around here, dude, so that's really cool. Yeah, my favorite video game shop here in town, 1UP Games. And yes, that is a free plug. You don't have to pay me money, but you can buy me a birthday cake. How about that? Dude, they're opening back up, so I totally, as you listen to this, it's payday. So I totally want to go down there and pick up. I don't know, dude. I want to start getting back into video games, dude. I go through these roller coasters, dude. As you've noticed on the 3-year journey that we've been on here on this podcast, dude, I go on waves, man, where like I'm really into video games, and then I have times where I'm just like, well, I just want to watch a bunch of movies and just be entertained that way. But then there's times again like where I'm just like really into it, and like I don't know, dude. I just like I have this like envision like when my kids are grown up, dude. That literally that's like all I'm gonna do. Like, it's going to just be me and Jessica, and it's going to be weird, dude. It's going to be weird because, like, we're going to, like, live that life that, like, you're supposed to live in, like, your 20s when you first, you know, meet somebody. You're supposed to move in, hang out, get married, then have kids. We're like, hey, you know, we've known each other for, like, 3 years. Let's have a kid, and, you know, right outside of high school. So, you know, now as we approach into our 40s, we're definitely going to be able to, like, you know, just live, a very chill life, dude. I'm like, damn, dude, dishes are going to be kept up. Things are going to be put away in their spot. Like, you know, I'm not going to have to worry about things getting broken. Well, you always got to worry about things getting broken, but you know what I mean, dude. You know what I mean? Like DVDs, like I found like this one. I didn't yell. I didn't get mad, dude. Like I'm a real stickler when it comes to DVDs and like CDs and video games and taking care of them and stuff and like making sure you don't fuck them up. Like, because I've been there in my life where I have fucked that shit up, and like then you gotta like go back and rebuy the shit, and it's not a good feeling to have to rebuy something knowing that you fucked it up to begin with. And so I've learned to just be better, be fucking better in terms of that. And like I was going through cleaning out some stuff, dude, and I found a copy, one of my copies of The Simpsons, just like disc 1 of like season 5. And like that was a DVD set that I already had rebought back in the day. So this was my rebuy here when I bought it over the last year or whatever. And yeah, Jameson unfortunately just had a lapse in judgment, and which it's understandable, dude. Again, like I can't be mad. It's just like I just told him, I'm like, hey man, this is an example of you just gotta make sure you pay attention to when you put that. You can't just put that down. Make sure it goes back in its case, dude, or goes into a case that later you'll pull out of and put back into the right case. So we had a little bit of a moment. I mean the DVD's pretty fucked up and probably can't use it again, but you know what? That's what digital copies are for. That's what digital fucking copies are for. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just not too worried about it. So, and again, man, I'm feeling good, dude. Got fucking exercise. It changes so much, dude. It's like, I'm outside, dude. I got bugs flying around me. I hear like bees going. I fucking love it, dude. I fucking love it. Yeah, dude. But I'm just feeling good, dude. I'm just fucking living my best life, like I said. Just hanging out with my kids. We're playing through Batman Arkham like City Nights or some shit, dude. And again, like I don't know. I as much as I like to play games, like the newer games, I tend to leave to like Jory and Jameson. I'll sit back and just watch them, dude. Like I don't mind putting a CD on and just listening to music and watching them play fucking Minecraft, like, because it's still fun. Like, even though I don't necessarily think Minecraft's like a fun game, and like I'm not gonna sit down and build a bunch of shit, but like, dude, kids are super ass fucking creative on that shit, dude. So it's really cool to like sit back and listen to like Dark Side of the Moon, listen to some Pink Floyd, and then watch fucking Minecraft and shit while you're fucking on a 10 milligram edible. It feels wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. So, dude, like I said, man, I'm just I'm in a good mood. Like I said, we're getting down on the Super Nintendo, getting down on the Sega Genesis. I picked up some cool games on the original Xbox. I picked up The Thing, which is supposed to be, I guess, a sequel to the original, but in the video game format, which I've never gotten to play because I'd always heard about it. But like I was just on fucking eBay like last week or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if it is on Xbox. I've never even looked. I wanted to also, just check it out. And so I look it up, dude, and yeah, sure as shit, it's on the original Xbox for like $15, and it's like, dude, score, dude, fucking score. So, because like it's so much more expensive to get that version on like a PlayStation 2 or whatever, but like it seems like the PlayStation 2 was definitely a far more coveted system compared to the original Xbox anyway. So that's my next plan this weekend, dude. Definitely, I want to bust out my original Xbox and just like get to town, dude. I want to go back and play some Madden 07 and play a franchise and play like, because dude, that was back in the day when like you could like you could just you didn't have you could still do like no salary cap or whatever, but what you could do back in the day on Madden, you can create your own characters, and then so you just jack up the fucking, so like 99s the left and right, dude. So you put all your friends like as your tight end, your wide receivers, your running backs and shit, so you just have a badass fucking team, dude. So like my brother's like my tight end or something, like dude, it's so cool. So I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna go back this weekend and play some of that, dude. And plus I got like a NASCAR game, dude. I love fucking racing games, dude. Racing games are so much fun. I got fucking Tiger Woods PGA golf to play. I got a NCAA 05, I think, on there. So for football, I think that's going to be a lot of fun to play. And then, so I got the thing that hasn't come in the mail yet, but then I also have Ninja Gaiden, which had some weird fucking shit happen to me on eBay. So I had some stuff delivered on Monday, and then like it said that Ninja Gaiden game that I got, which is apparently was exclusively only for the original Xbox. It said it had been delivered, but then I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I didn't get it in the fucking mail. So I check everything. I'm like, oh, it's not here. And then all of a sudden, like midday, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, dude. Like I'll figure it out later. So I'm working and stuff, and I check my eBay account, and it says like being processed in Federal Way, and it's like, oh, okay, so there was a fucking screw up internally somehow that got reported delivered, but it wasn't delivered, and so the system like got another scan or something. I don't know, dude, but the game's coming, so I guess that's all good. So, but yeah, we picked up that, and then like Jessica, like back in the day, dude, when we had the PS2, dude, she doesn't really play video games that much. Like she's down with Super Smash Brothers, fuck that. Honestly, I think that's like really, besides the other game I'm going to bring up, that's the only game I really think she gets down on. And so back in the day, dude, on the PS2, there's a game called Ratatouille. I don't know if you remember that movie. I never watched the movie, okay? But I just remember watching her for hours just get down on that video game, dude. And like we were on the PS network here, going through the PS store here a couple weeks ago, and they have it on there, but like you have to subscribe since it's a PS2 game, which you can buy certain PS2 games on the PlayStation Network. So I don't know why you couldn't fucking buy this one, but so you have to have like their streaming package or whatever, because there's like, you know, like everything now, everything's got its own fucking network, so you could just get on there and play old school video games, like a shit ton of them for like $10 a month or whatever. It's like the Netflix of PlayStation or whatever, or you know, which Xbox has it too, Nintendo has it for old games, you know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it's not on there, dude. But yeah, again, I fucking eBayed that shit, found it on there for like $10 fucking bucks for the Xbox original, dude. So boom, and say we may not be playing it on the PlayStation 2 this time around, but hey, she was pretty happy when I told her, because like I told her I was like, oh, I got you a video game. She's like, oh, what fucking video game? And I'm like, take a guess. She's like, Ratatouille. And I'm like, motherfucker, you know me too well, or I know you too well. Whatever. So, dude, I don't know, man. This week's episode is a kick-ass fucking episode. We got Jay McNay making his return back to the podcast that no one listens to. So, dude, what I mean, it's like right there. It's just like skip, get to Jay, dude. Jay's the shit, dude. I've known Jay for now like a little bit over a year, it feels like. I'm not too sure exactly how long we've known each other. It feels like 3 or 4 years. But like, I don't know, man, over this quarantine, man, like I feel like we've gotten to know each other a little bit better, you know, just hanging out, doing Zoom calls and just like fucking bullshitting through text and stuff. And like, you know, me and him are just into a lot of like the same things, man. So, it's definitely cool to have like-minded people around you and shit. So, definitely Jay is a brother, and this episode definitely doesn't disappoint. So I attest to the beginning. If it sounds like I pulled something out of my ass, it means I probably did, dude. So I remember I was fucking, when we started recording this, dude, I was coming off fucking being high all afternoon. So I'm like a little bit mushy brain there for a minute, and then like, I don't know, 20 minutes in, that's where I felt like I got my bearings. So Jay totally carries the first 20 minutes of the episode, no problem. But yeah, dude, you know, totally check this episode out. Check all of our episodes out in our archive. You know, you can find us obviously on Facebook for video, and then we're also on YouTube as well. The podcast that no one listens to, which, dude, fucking trying to change the cover art on your YouTube page is a fucking hassle, dude. Every time it's like, oh, you must be signed in. It's like, I'm pretty fucking sure I'm signed into my Google account, you stupid son of a bitch. And then you go to click to log in and it just disappears. And it's like, sorry, we can't do this right now. It's like, okay, cool. So I guess my cover art's going to be the cover from Live Fast Diarrhea by the fucking Vandals Forever. It just says diarrhea across it, which kind of explains this podcast. Verbal diarrhea is a good way of describing these shows. So yeah, totally check us out there, dude. And dude, if for the audio only version, man, like you guys that are just checking out the video version, thank you. But also, if you check out our video version, you also get a customized playlist at the end of the episode. So it's typically whatever I've been listening throughout the week. I'll make notes and just like, okay, we'll put this on. But sometimes, like today, if I don't have access to the internet and my thing's being a piece of shit, I really can't customize it. So sometimes we'll just do a greatest hits, and like I'll just go through all the MP3s that I have saved on my computer, and we'll just pick out the greatest hits. So I don't know, man, but again, you know, thank you guys so much, man. This summer has been kick ass, dude. Hopefully it's just gonna get better, dude. Like, it sucks ass. We can't go to concerts. We can't do a lot of things right now, but dude, we got each other. You know, fuck, man, just hang out, dude. Just hang in there. We're going to get through this shit. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you Jay McNay.
All aboard!
Jay McNay, welcome back to the podcast. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Oh, dude, you know it, man. I'm sitting here in fucking the hottest bed of COVID in the United States of America, Yakima, Washington, just hanging out.
Festering around you. It's all around you.
It's like bacon grease, dude. It's like you walk out, it's like, no, my skin! Burns, the COVID burns.
You never know where you're going to fall in.
Oh, dude, I don't know, man. I'm trying to survive over here, dude. It's just, the news gets worse day by day, but I feel like I just disconnect that much more from reality, and just stop paying attention to everything. And then I'm in my own little bubble and I'm feeling okay.
That's how it seems to go, you know, and that's how what everyone seems to be saying more and more. At least, you know, the saner people or the people that seem to be not completely freaking out are just like, I mean, I've been trying to do that more and more, just completely, basically tune out of, you know, you check the headlines, make sure fucking White House isn't on fire, and other than that, just fucking do your own thing, you know.
Yeah.
Go paint a picture, go plant a plant or something, because you can go crazy just fucking being online all day.
Oh, dude. I think I was going crazy there for a little bit, man. I found myself just constantly gripped in a podcast about, you know, like just everything that's going on in society today. And it's just like, it really does become overwhelming in the sense of just like, you're just like, all right, man, I gotta like, either I'm going to go insane like everybody else in this country, or I gotta fucking dial it back, dude. Like,
right.
You know,
Either I'm going to find a violent group to join, and there's many out there right now apparently, or I'm just going to step back into my own world here.
Yeah, dude. What have you been doing to get away from society these days?
Well, drinking too much, obviously. That also seems to be a popular hobby for everybody. But
it's a damn good hobby right there.
It is. It's nice. But at least I've still been sticking to the claws. I got a nice. They came out with a new pineapple White Claw that I'm sipping on right now.
What? They came out with a pineapple claw, dude?
That's right.
Damn, that sounds tasty.
And I can have it in the privacy and security of my own home, not be ridiculed like at Bill's back in the day.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, people just fucking trashy fucking day and night for that. But it seems like everybody's coming around on that, dude.
Well, yeah,
I saw the group chat in there. Danny's all talking about how he was all wasted off fucking White Claw and shit.
It's good. Once you try it, Brisky and Anthony said the same thing. It's like, okay, you know, once we try it, it isn't bad.
Well, I'll drink those like the bubblies and stuff, you know, and like the carbonated waters. Like I'll drink those, dude. Those are always good, man. Like I always get down on those, man. But like, yeah, dude, I would just imagine like the hangover from one of those claw binge is definitely one to remember. I would imagine.
You know, I haven't found it to be especially bad. I mean, it is basically sparkling water. So I feel I'll tell you this much, and it might be too much. My hot piss isn't as dark when I'm drinking Claw as it is when I'm drinking like porters or something like that. And that's got to count for something, right?
I think it does. Yeah, definitely.
Like when you're drinking water, they say when you're hydrated, then it's like clear, and it seems pretty clear when on 12 Claws or something. So
it's giving Budweiser a run for its money.
That's right. No, I knew that. You know, that was the type of thing. I literally remember the first time I went to Bill's when we were doing those open mics there, and thinking like, shit, like I had been drinking Claws for a while there at the time, you know, and I, you know, not to brag, but I've had my share of fucking beers in my life. So
right.
I liked these just because they were a little bit lighter than, you know, I used to drink like Irish Deaths and shit like that were just so heavy. It felt like they would weigh you down, you know. So I was drinking
shit
these.
Fucking bricks for days after that, dude. Just fucking piles it up.
That's the type of shit that gives you the fucking rough hangovers. I remember drinking a bunch of those on like a hot summer day one time, and that next morning was fucking brutal.
I like day drinking, and I like drinking in the summer, dude. But yeah, you definitely got to like hydrate as you go especially as you get older, man. Like you definitely got to be considerate about having a water in between like every single beer that you have.
Right, and just kind of being smarter about it in general. But as I was saying, yeah, I remember that first time going up to that bar at Bill's, which, you know, I mean, it's a biker bar. There was times when that bar was literally filled with like some sort of motorcycle gang, right? I don't even remember which one. And I probably
unofficial, right?
They're the name, unofficial, but they all had vests on. I know that much, and they could all kick my ass. So there was a second there where I was like, oh fuck, I guess I should order like a whiskey or something, or at least a beer, and try and be cool. But
right. I
knew that I couldn't. If I did that, then I would be that'd be the beginning of the end, especially doing what we were doing there, you know.
Oh, of course.
Where it's like you gotta be your embarrassing self. You gotta just own it all. That's a big part of fucking comedy.
You can't run away from that, dude. You gotta establish your territory. You gotta, just claim it, dude. It's like, this is my drink. And dude, I kind of feel the same way when I wasn't drinking. My drink of choice was always a Shirley Temple.
Oh, that's right. Like, I remember that.
I would get shit for that, dude. I would totally get shit for that.
Yeah. So you feel my pain.
I do.
I remember you got that a couple times at Bill's, right?
Yeah. If I'm not drinking, dude, it's just my go-to drink, just because.
Hey, they're pretty good.
7-Up's a reasonable soda, and like I don't know, I've really been pretty lax in regards to my rules about soda drinking the last like year,
Yeah.
which basically is like I just drink soda whenever the hell I want to now. But like it's just beforehand, it was always I was really trying to stay away, which I probably should go back to not drinking soda because damn, dude, soda is like so bad for you. But
Yeah, that's
it's hard to say no.
Those sparkling waters you mentioned, I always use those as like a methadone for soda when I'm trying to like kick the Coca-Cola. I'll start to drinking like those orange fucking water, because at least you do get like oddly addicted to like the carbonation or something, you know, especially when you're with like a meal or some shit like that. So I'll try to use those to wean off them, but once you get back on, yeah, it's tough. You're just on again.
Dude, you just fucking slam right into that, dude. You know,
Sugar,
get back on the train, dude.
Sugar and Facebook, the two most detrimentally addictive fucking things in our society right now.
I've been off social media for the last basically the last 24 hours more or less. Like I've really have had to like use the same tactics I used to quit smoking in order to like stay off Facebook and shit. It's like anytime I think about Facebook, it's like, oh yeah, okay, no, don't act on this this emotion and do not log in.
Yep.
You know, gotta get some gum or something every time I think about Facebook and shit and start chewing that shit up and
get a rubber band.
Get a rubber band or get go do something.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, there's no question that at least it's like habit forming or whatever, because you find yourself, I do the same thing where it's like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking look at Twitter or anything today, right. And then you have a minute and you sit down and you find yourself just going to it just like instinctually, you know, and sometimes you gotta catch yourself and be like, oh no, fuck, wait, I'm not doing this.
That happened to me this morning, dude. I drive like 45 minutes to work every day, and like I get there, I pull up my phone to check to see if I have any text messages because I don't check my phone while I'm driving or whatever. And the first thing I did, I opened the browser and typed in FAC, and it just automatically went to Facebook. I'm like, no!
No, wait, what am I doing?
Okay, I'll just check it for a second. Okay, log back out. Clear your browser history. Bury it under the ground.
It's like you get to work and reach under your passenger seat for that bottle in the bag. It's like, I'll just have a little sip here before work. Everything's fine. No big problem there.
Dude, oh man. I don't think I've ever gotten that far with alcoholism where I've had a bottle of booze in my car.
But it might be better for you than Facebook. At least you'd be calmed down and not just like fucking freaked out or fucking angry or whatever. I mean, that's all Facebook is good for anymore anyway, right?
Yeah, it's just outrage culture. That's all it is. Yeah.
Well, remember like a year or so ago when like they dragged Zuckerberg in front of like the Senate or some shit? Mm-hmm. Because I think it was maybe about like the Russian probe or some shit. I wasn't paying too close attention. I just remember seeing all the pictures of him looking like a weird like alien that they dragged out of his pod and threw him in front of like the Senate or the fucking Congress or whoever does that shit. Remember his like weird bug eyes and stuff, but they went through, they kind of got, I don't know, kind of went off the radar pretty quick, but they went over some of their tactics that Facebook was using, at least back at that time. And like one of the ones that stood out to me was the fact that, you know, the algorithm that they realized would be the most beneficial to them and their advertisers was pushing stuff onto people that made people angry or upset. So like to Hillary people, they would push like, oh, can you believe what these fucking right wingers are doing now? And to the Trump people, it'd be like, oh, look at these fucking hippies. And that would get more traffic than stuff that people actually liked. So I mean, that's just the most evil. At best, they were manipulating people's emotions to sell more fucking, copper bracelets or whatever it was. At worst, that's just straight up lizard shit, man. That's just like moon harvesting negative energy shit.
Dude, I mean, it's pretty insane just to, when you step back and you look at like the, how far, the brain, the manipulation of the brain that the government is like, stepped in on, in terms of like MK Ultra and, just throughout all the years and stuff, and just like the brainwashing of the TV, whether it be the radio, just like everything that, whether it be video games, like it seems like not necessarily the government has a hand in it, obviously, but like there's that coinciding between, the public sector and the government in terms of, like knowledge and information and all that shit. And it's just, I don't know. It's pretty intense when you think about how much it's ramped up to here in 2020. It
really is. I mean, well, it's the same as they say about like the news cycle. It went from being a nightly show to a 24-hour thing. And that's kind of the same thing it seems with the constant. And that's what it is too. It's like, it's like advertising. no matter what you're advertising. I guess if it's when it's the government, it's called propaganda, and when it's corporations or whatever, it's called advertising. But there's no question that manipulating people, you know, even if it's as like obvious as like a pretty girl selling a boat or whatever the fucking cliche is. I mean, that they do that for a reason, you know. It's all manipulation to a certain extent. And we kind of laugh at it sometimes, like when they talk about, oh, McDonald's uses the colors they use because it makes people like hungry, or it makes people want to fucking go in or feel love or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
But like, I mean, that's a slight or maybe even not slight manipulation, you know, and especially if a lot of people don't even realize it, which, I mean, I don't realize all of it, and a lot of people aren't even thinking about the possibility of it, you know?
Right.
Most people just go through their lives and don't even think about like why logos look the way they do. And, you know, it's not even conspiracy shit. It's, you know, there's a reason they have people design stuff to, you know, there's a reason commercials exist, because they work, you know?
No, exactly, dude. And they put a lot of, you know, time and manpower hours into, you know, figuring out, like you just said, dude, like what colors are going to, you know, cause certain emotions to be, you know, received from the, you know, the brain to the body, to the mind, to the toes, to the, you know, the hands and whatnot, dude. It's like, these people fucking like, it's strategic in regards to what they do regarding, you know, what they put out there and how they put it out there. It's definitely very strategic, like you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, and it's straight up, I don't know how much of this is like real, and I don't even know the whole story, but I think it's something like Sigmund Freud or Kinsey or one of those famous like psychologists or whatever that thing is called. His like nephew apparently was like the mastermind behind what would become like the biggest advertising firm and influence advertising in America, like, you know, until today.
No shit. Wow.
I don't know the whole story, but there's something there where, I mean, it's at one point it went from, hey, we have the best cigarettes, or our car has the best horsepower or whatever, to like, Subaru loves you and we love your family and we want to protect you, so buy our cars. You know, there's a reason they do that. Like you said, they want you to literally feel. It's not about thinking, it's about feeling that you want McDonald's or whatever it is, you know. It's
like you feel it in your heart. Well, shit, I mean, like fast food's addicting, right? You know, just from what they serve you, dude. I mean,
that
like,
too, yeah.
You know, like the
they
chemicals.
They can get you in, and that's going to be a 1-2 punch that you I mean, yeah, that too, because people get off a hard day at work, or, you know, even I remember they used to take us there sometimes after like fucking little league games or whatever. It's like you start to connect, and it's not all bad, you know, to a certain extent. Part of that is like, yeah, you're eating with your family, which is a good thing, but they know it, you know, it's not all bad, but they certainly manipulate it until it is bad. You know, they don't give a shit if you're going in there and you're fucking 800 pounds. They don't. At that point, they're just going to say they love you until you eat yourself to death, you know?
Well, you know, I guess that's what you get for being a free society. I mean, you get to choose to do what you want to do.
That is, right? I mean, with more freedom comes more danger. And I guess that's good at the end of the day.
But, I mean, ultimately it comes down to the individual responsibility of, you know, the actions that you're going to take, dude. It's like I talk about, me, you know, going back on drinking soda, dude. It's like if I end up with diabetes, well, guess what, Kevin? It's your fucking fault that you got diabetes, not the soda corporation.
It's not Dr. Coca-Cola's fault. It's Kevin Porter's.
Even though they do fucking manipulate that shit for it to be fucking like, because again, like it seems like anything you touch within, you know, our society is just, it's aimed at, to getting you hooked, to getting you to use this product, to buy, consume, which, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, you know, but I don't know, man. I don't think it is a good thing, honestly.
I don't know. I guess it's just the natural outcome. I guess there's a happy medium, because the basic structure makes sense. We need food and we like cheeseburgers, so they're selling cheeseburgers.
Right.
I guess you just got to have some restraint. Kind of like with the cigarettes and kids, right? Like the Joe Camel thing. Maybe Joe Camel was kind of crazy because in retrospect, especially, it was like, maybe cigarette companies shouldn't be allowed to advertise in, you know, comic books or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh yeah.
So like maybe not total and complete freedom, because maybe that's how you get, you know, not to make it political, but like, you know, that shit in Capitol Hill or whatever. And that doesn't seem to necessarily always work out great. So you gotta give up some of your freedoms to live in a civilized society. But I mean, I guess that's the game, right? Trying to figure out how much is actually worth
balance.
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to find that happy balance in society, to where, you know, because most people just want to live their lives, dude. You know, most people aren't wanting to, you know, tear up the streets and shit.
Well, right.
I
And
don't
most
know.
people at the end of the day don't
Mhm.
want to rip their neighbors off. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
most people like want to get a fair price for their product if they're making a product or for their labor. But
Right.
I don't, maybe that's wishful thinking, but like if I had the chance, if I was fucking growing tomatoes,
Mhm.
I would sell them at enough to make a profit. But I feel like I would like to think that I wouldn't gouge people for them, even if I had the opportunity,
Right. And and something is to be said, because like when you really look at like the true free market and stuff, and like you said, like if we were able to go out there and just sell our products, and the best, whoever's got the best products, gonna be able to sell the most at the end of the day. But we see the way our quote unquote free markets like set up here in the United States, and it's like this crony capitalism that we have, and like all these like giant corporations that are basically where modern day slavery is. We're
Right.
subservient to these corporations now, and it's like your average person out there doesn't really stand a chance to even go out and make a living,
or at
compared
least,
to having to go against like Amazon or Walmart or whatever.
yeah, it's tough to invent a better cell phone right now when Apple has a country full of slave labor basically making their shit.
Right. And that's one thing I'm like really interested in is like, cause like, again, like it's really hard to change, something on like a national level, so like truthfully us as individuals, if we're looking to change anything, it's like really, the only thing we're really going to affect is like on a local level or whatever, like basically city and statewide.
Well, that's
And,
it, right?
Man, it's just, I don't know if we were talking about it on the podcast. I don't know. I forget. But it's just, just getting away from, that whole capitalistic, consume, buy, mentality is like, I think that's really would do wonders for people if we were able to just get away from that,
Yeah.
And, obviously it's not like, well, Kevin, do you have a fucking answer on how the fuck you're going to accomplish that? It's like, no, I don't. But again, I think it's up to the individual to make, certain decisions, whether or not you're going to spend 8 hours a day on fucking Facebook or, shopping at the local Walmart rather compared to your local, local mom and pop fucking shop or whatever. I don't know, dude. Like,
right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? It might sound a little oversimplified, and maybe it is, but like, yeah, it's every individual making every single choice that we all make, and even that boils down to even like having a nice society where it's like it's certainly oversimplified, but if everyone was nice generally speaking, if everyone was nice in every interaction, then I guess that would be a perfect society, right? And obviously that's like easier said than done, but
easier said than done, right?
Yeah, but in the same way, I mean, at the very least, it would probably be more beneficial for people to be worrying about what's going on in their town or their community more than what's going on in Washington, D.C. to a certain extent. I mean, obviously you want to be informed, I guess, although I feel like more and more I don't even want to be informed. I just want to fucking turn it all off. But at the same time, there's a lot that you can't really do much about. So like there's a lot of us that are getting worked up about stuff that at the end of the day we really can't do much about. And we'd probably be better off fucking playing a board game with our family or, having a block party with the neighbors as far as just making everyone's lives better,
Which that's like completely frowned upon at this moment. They're like, what do you mean?
Well, sure, maybe not right now. A social, each have a party. That's what just everyone have your own party in your own front lawn, but don't interact with each other.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Don't share any food by all means.
No, just kind of wave to each other from across the street.
Hey, well, it's like
good.
It's kind of cool, like over the 4th of July weekend. I mean, with all in a lot of like, cities, we saw the cancellation of all the fireworks and whatnot. But like reports you're hearing out from all the major cities, like people just said, fuck you, and lit off their own fucking fireworks, dude. I think people are sick of it, dude.
It sounds like they've been doing that fucking all month or all lockdown or whatever. It's so hard too to know how much is just like hype and clickbait at this point. But you hear these stories about like in major cities, at least fireworks going off like all night and shit like that,
Right. Which some people are like all anti fireworks because having their animals and stuff. Which definitely, dude, I watch my animals a little bit closely, during that time frame. It's not fun. It's definitely not fun for them, but still, it is what it is. It's the world that we live in. We live in a world full of fireworks, dude, where people
especially now. Viruses and fireworks. That's all we got right now.
That's the only hope that Yakima fucking America has.
The world, perhaps.
The world. Fucking
oh shit, sorry, dude. Do you mind if I take a piss real quick?
Yeah, we're good. Part 2 begins now. Jay McNay, welcome back to the podcast. After that
Sorry.
tea break, what's up, buddy?
Not too much. Too many pregame claws there.
Game clock. You're like, shit, Kevin Porter's not off work for fucking another half an hour. Slam these things, dude.
Plenty of time. I also had an energy
man.
drink to make sure that I wasn't too low energy here.
Yeah, right. I know that was my problem today, dude. I took that edible and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be like wrecked by the time I start recording, dude. You gotta get that energy up, Kevin. Shit,
Yeah,
dude. I know.
especially right now. There's just too many, even like real, not that yours isn't real, even professional podcasts where people come on and it's like, oh, I don't know, dude, it's been tough. And it's like, yeah, it is tough. And I feel bad for everyone who's out of work and stuff. But at the same time, you gotta, I mean, come on. We got to at least try to find some silver lining, right?
A little bit of pep in your step, dude. I mean, especially if you're going on somebody's podcast, you got to bring it up a little, dude. Like,
bring it up a little bit.
It's the worst, dude, when you have somebody on and they're like, yup, well, that was my story. You got to be constantly jumping in and then it's like,
Yeah, you got to try to at least bring something to the table.
We're on a podcast that hundreds, if not tens of thousands of people are going to listen to.
Because you seem to get that. I mean, on that big scale, like maybe from like the more famous people who don't do it very much, and they just think it's going to be more like a interview or something. You can really feel like some of the hosts having to like pull teeth, Yeah,
dude, it's always. I mean, like a good host can get anybody through a podcast. I think in most cases, but yeah, some of those times you're just like halfway through, just like click. Just turn it off.
There's been a couple of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude. No, man. So what have you been doing? I know last time we talked, you were talking, we're getting back into video games and everything. What have you been doing on the PlayStation 4 side?
PlayStation's been mostly Madden lately. Just finished the season of franchise mode.
Okay. I expect the Seahawks went undefeated again, right?
Well, I was drafted by the Raiders, which is actually pretty cool.
You're playing the individual. Okay.
Yeah, the quarterback face of the franchise, which is pretty fun.
Best.
Yeah, especially because I realized that scrambling QB is a fun way to go about it. Because anytime, I have to hold myself back from just doing it every time, but anytime the play breaks down, you can just fucking take off, and then it's kind of get best of both worlds.
Yeah, dude, your quarterback gets like 100 yards each game.
Yeah, that's what it basically was. Yeah, I got dislocated. You get hurt a lot. I got dislocated elbow about halfway through the season, so I had to sit out a few games. But he was on pace to break some rushing records for sure.
You gotta figure out the slide button so that way you can just fucking slide into it.
I literally never figured it out. I remember looking it up one night, like, what? How do I slide? Because I'm taking some fucking big hits over here. But at the same time, I'm such a I'm a pussy when it comes to games. So it's not easy, but it's on medium. So there's a slight challenge, but I think we've said before, I don't want too much of a challenge.
I'll throw it on rookie, dude. No shame in my game, dude. I'll throw that shit on rookie every single time.
I'll play games to win. I don't want to get depressed and playing video games. I got enough of that shit in real life.
Oh man, I remember one time, dude. I did put it on medium one year, dude, and I went like 12-3 or 13-2 or something in my season. And I get to the playoffs, dude, and like, yeah, sure as shit, dude. I got my ass handed to me, dude. And I could have gone the route of just like turning it off and like restarting the game. I could have done that, but I didn't. I ended up just going ahead.
You just gotta eat it sometimes.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, it's like, oh great, I just fucking spent 20 hours playing this game, and now I went to 13-5 and knocked out in the first round. That's the problem. I need to find a hobby that at the very least is I like video games, but it's just like such a waste of time. It feels like I need to do like yoga or golf or something that at least you're getting something back from it,
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from there, dude, but it's still like I don't know, man. There's something about playing like video games, dude, where I'm just like, I don't know, it gets me through like the hard times right now, dude. It's like when we really talk about like just being able to like, oh shit, because like I was driving to work today, I was like, oh fuck. Like the last time I played Madden, I was in the playoffs and I was going to play San Francisco in the divisional finals. Like I totally forgot about that. Why have I not played Madden? I was like, I'm going to go home tonight and play Madden. That's like,
you look forward to that all day. Yeah, I hear that. I mean, that's me 1,000%. I put in, so I've been playing Madden on the PS4, and just recently, actually like a year or two ago, my brother got me like a computer, like a real nice computer for my birthday. He made a little bit of scratch going overseas for the government. So we've we kind of play games on and off, but really we haven't found anything that stuck. Because if I find a game, I really like it, but I'm not a big fan of like the Call of Duty stuff and shit like that. But recently we've been playing Fallout 76, and I put in like 30 hours this last week or something, like obscene. And that, like you said, dude, it's like, it's not healthy, I'm sure of that, but like when I'm at work and don't want to be at work, like in my head I'm like in that world. I'm like, I'm gonna do this and this. This, like, my camp is waiting for me, my fucking dog companion, I'm gonna be doing these missions tonight. It's like, it's sad, it's definitely sad, but it does get you through. There's something to be said about it.
It really does get you through, man. And I don't know, man. Like I said, dude, like I've never really like thought about it as being as like a sad existence, because
right, that's healthier. That's a healthier way to live your life. I need to probably stop that negative self-talk, as they say.
What do you do all day, Jay? It's like, I just play video games.
I'm just living my head in the Fallout.
At least you have a job, dude. Like
those hills of West Virginia.
If you were telling me that you were like, oh man, dude, I wake up at 8 o'clock in the fucking morning, smoke fucking morning bowls, I fucking get in, start playing, fucking play like a good 12 hours in a day, like then probably we got some problems. But
that sounds pretty good, though. I'm not gonna lie. That doesn't sound like a bad Saturday. I'm not gonna lie.
No, dude, drinking some White Claws, smoking a joint, playing some Fallout 76 with your brother online, dude. That is a great time. Bro.
That's pretty good. Maybe I'll try to scale it back to like 8 hours, so at least I can live with myself.
And just make sure we're under 12, dude.
Yep. That's less than half the day. I can't say I spent half the day, but it is amazing how those hours tick up. Like I said, you get like an achievement or whatever it is, ironically, perhaps, when you've played it for 24 hours. And like a couple days ago, that popped up, and I was like, what? Oh man. Yeah, I guess that's probably about right.
Yeah, it's like you get a dopamine rush, dude. Especially like when you first get the game and you get that first trophy, you're like, "Oh shit, I did something good!" Like, and it's just like, "Okay, when's that next trophy coming?"
A good game like that is just so like immersive too, where you can't turn the lights off. And did you ever see, what was that? I mean, it really does prove the point that unless the whole economy collapses, we're probably on the way to a Ready Player One type existence where everyone is just plugged into a virtual reality, because I mean, if I could just live in that virtual reality, that's probably, how different is that? I'm inches away from the screen using a controller at times. So if I could plug into it, I probably would. And at that point, I'd just be working to just go and live in my virtual reality, which I don't know, man. Maybe it is. Who's to say it's not real? Like the Matrix shit. If you're feeling it, if you're tasting it, maybe it is real.
Maybe it is real, dude. Have you tried any of that, like the Oculuses or the PlayStation VR headsets?
I don't think I've ever tried. Yeah. I haven't tried the PlayStation one. I remember we got the kind of, I don't know about shitty, because they were pretty cool. The ones that your phone just plug into. That was like years ago now, right? And my
it's been a couple of years.
And my brother has like a better one that hooks up to his computer. That's, I think, probably similar to the PS.
Probably
whatever type
Oculus.
Yeah, I think it probably is an Oculus, and they're pretty fucking cool, man. I mean, have you fucked around with them at all?
Yeah, man. I got the PlayStation VR for Christmas, like 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
It's pretty cool, dude. The only thing I'm missing is like those move sticks. So some of the games require those, but for the most part, dude, I mean, like fucking playing Gran Turismo, like in fucking VR, dude, you like look over, you're in that first person driver, simulation or whatever. And you look over into the passenger seat, and then you look behind you, and it's like all encompassing, and it's like, it's pretty trippy, dude. Especially if you like, the first time I played, I was really drunk. And I remember going to bed that
perfect
night.
way to drink and drive.
Yeah.
That could save millions of lives a year and license.
Oh, dude, I was wasted driving around in Gran Turismo, dude. I just remember, like, the only thing is, like, the next day or so, I kept seeing, like, flashes of it. And I don't know, like, because you're so close to it, dude. Your eyes are, like, right next to the screen. Because, like, the screen's, like, right here, and you put the headset on, and it's like, boom.
Right. I guess that's what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just...
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, dude, it fucked with me for a good couple days, like those first couple times doing it, dude, where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do this all the time. Like, it was like really fun, but then it's like, I don't know what this is like really good for your mind, though.
Yeah, because that's the weird thing, because there's no other way, because that was kind of the deal with the phones, too. It's not like, yes, it's virtual reality, but really it's just a fucking screen shoved 2 centimeters in front of your eyes to make you think that, everything you see is which is cool, but man, there's no way that could be good for you, right?
I don't think so.
I can't imagine. Not
Well,
good. At
let's just
best, it could not hurt you. There's no way it's good for you.
There's gonna be a warning on one of those on those fucking machines one of these days, dude. Because like straight up, I was looking at a bag of like hot dog buns yesterday, dude. And like, you know how California is so fucking
Why
progressive.
were you
out
looking
there?
at that?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I was just sitting there eating dinner and I turned it over.
I
And
was staring at a big hot dog 30, 40 minutes.
well, I turned it over and there was a warning label talking about how hot dog buns may in the state of California give you cancer. And I'm just like,
That's
oh, okay,
funny.
it's good to know that hot dog buns may give me cancer one day. But you know,
Only
it's
in
like
California, though.
Electronic
Don't
device.
worry about it. We're in Washington.
Yeah. Dude, California is fucking insane when it comes to their laws when it comes to like shit, dude. They're fucking all over the place, man.
Well, I guess that's kind of what we were talking about before, right? Where it's like that's what you get when you want to be safe all the time. Because someone has to, when you give that freedom away to the government to say, okay, make me safe all the time. I don't want to take any chances for myself. Then they go, okay, well, we're gonna have to cut your hot dog buns up for you then because you might choke on them or whatever
Yeah.
like that is that line you have to walk with the government, or it's like, and then it never works because again, not to make it political, but we've all been in the fucking DMV. That's the government. That's how the government works,
Right.
So imagine giving them control over fucking other aspects of your life.
Right. No, and one thing I remember back in the day, like the one thing I thought of also when I saw the warning on the fucking hot dog buns, which I see it from time to time now. But like there was like a real heavy, I think it was like 2012 or something. They were trying to pass a mandate that here in Washington State where like all like what the fuck is it? If like your food contained like GMOs or genetically modified food or something, you had to put like a warning label on there of some kind. Right. And like all these companies were like, it's gonna cost us so much money to add a fucking label onto the fucking the thing of hot dog buns. And it's like really when you think about it, it's like I don't really think it costs you that much money to do that. But
how much could it possibly cost?
Yeah.
Are you worried that people just don't want to buy your horrible zombie food?
Yeah. Well, it's just
Plus,
like
I don't even know if it's bad, but like, why not? That's kind of like, again, that's like the transparency thing. Just fucking put what the ingredient. It should say what the ingredients are, no matter what. Right. I mean, if that's what it is, then say that's what it is.
Exactly. Don't mislead people, dude.
Right. What are you hiding to begin with?
It's like no, cigarettes are good. Remember when doctors used to give tell people, hey, smoke some cigarettes, you'll feel better.
Oh man, no. Yeah. My mom's friend tells a story. She grew up in a small town in like Eastern Washington here. When she's probably like in her late 60s now. She remembers as a little girl, the doctor would come in to the pediatrician would come into the fucking office to give her an exam, whatever, smoking a cigarette. I mean, that would be a comedic scene in a movie today, and even that would be, people would probably get mad at it or something. Right. Like, and that was just life. People just fucking smoked everywhere all the time. Everywhere,
dude. Like I remember going to the malls and like they had ashtrays in the fucking malls and shit, dude.
Can you imagine? That's so crazy. I mean, that just goes to show how stuff can change so fast. Yeah, because even as our childhood, I mean, it was probably tailing off around then, like in the 90s or whatever, but certainly, 70s and 80s and stuff, people just walking around the malls smoking cigarettes. If you saw that today, you'd be like, what the fuck? It would be so off-putting.
Yeah, well, it's like I remember when we were like turning 17 and stuff, like, because I don't know about you, I started smoking when I used to smoke cigarettes. I started smoking when I was like 16.
Oh yeah.
And I remember right when I turned like 17, 18, that's when they made it like illegal for you to smoke inside the bars. And I remember just getting so fucking pissed off about that. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Just missed out.
Yeah. And it's like, I was in those like restaurants where people were, my mom smoked all the time. My mom smoked like, I got so much secondhand smoke from that lady, dude.
Did she smoke in the car and stuff?
She smoked in the car. She smoked in the fucking house, dude. Like
in the shower. She would never not smoke it.
Probably.
Lady. That's funny.
I think so, dude. It's just like, and like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should get my like lungs checked, like in terms of like an X-ray or something. But
I guess at this point the damage is done, right?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Ever since I quit smoking, I can like, it's been like 4 years, dude. I can definitely feel the difference in terms of the way I breathe.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the one good thing again, who fucking knows? But from what I've heard, they say that when you quit smoking, especially if you're young enough, you can reverse some of the, the damage that it causes to your lung tissue and stuff. I guess it doesn't regenerate, not fast, but over a matter of years.
Yeah, it takes like a good 10 to 20 years or some shit to like really get like full like healing from it, dude, which I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. I've only been in it for like about 4 years now, and it's like I still smoke weed, but
Right. So who knows? Yeah, that might be different. That might make a difference.
Man, like I don't know, man. Like the thing with weed is like you always hear that it's like it's fine, like it's not going to give you cancer. Like you read the occasional article about like the carcinogens that you'll get from smoking weed, and that's just from like smoking out of a bowl to like the heat from the lighter and whatnot. I mean, like,
right.
There's safer ways to consume it, obviously, but like just from
Sure.
legitimately smoking it, I mean, like you there's very little evidence that it actually causes major harm to your body compared to like what cigarettes do or a cigar does or whatever, dude. I mean, like there's really no like real evidence showing otherwise.
It seems that way, although, I mean, I'm 100% sympathetic to everything you just said there. But if we do step back from what we want the truth to be,
very true.
It can't be
That's
good to
point.
light something on fire and inhale the smoke that comes from it in any form, right?
100%.
Again, it's one of those things that well, I don't know if you can say it's definitely not good for you, because there might be some beneficial things, but at least that it's definitely not good for your lungs, probably. But again, who fucking knows?
Well, that's the thing, though. It's just like when they go and research it, though, they don't have like overwhelming evidence saying one way or the other. It's just one of those things they like. And I guess like with the fact that weed's now been legal here in Washington State for what, about like 7 to 8 years or whatever.
Yes,
I suppose now the universities are probably doing more tests on it than they have in decades, to actually determine what the risk factors are in terms of all the unsolved mysteries of marijuana.
Yeah, you would think, at least, hopefully. I guess that was one of the big things when it was like, oh no, maybe it's still like that. Because isn't that one of the big things that people want to take it off the Class A felony list or whatever? Because something about that includes like, I think that means that there's no known medical benefit, which is what the people that's what people point at for like, well, obviously that's not true. We already know, like for cancer patients and stuff. But I think that is what keeps it hard for people to do tests on it. I think that makes it harder for like people to be able to like acquire it to do tests and shit like that.
I think you're right. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, there's no reason for it to be listed on.
Right. I mean, obviously at this point. Although, I mean, I guess there's, I don't know. There is always two sides. So, I mean, obviously, I think the way that this state has it now in other states is probably the best way to go about it. The idea that you're actually going to be, arresting people for it at this point, especially when you're not doing it in other states, is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, the problem is too, you get these fucking goddamn hippies, and again, I'm sympathetic to it, but they fucking will say it cures cancer. There's people that go too far on the other side, and I'm not saying that there's not certain methods that might help with tumor growth or whatever, but there's motherfuckers that are like, yeah, if you smoke enough, you'll never get cancer. So it's like there's also a lot of bad information.
No, of course. Yeah, and in terms of like smoking weed and curing cancer, I don't know I've never heard anything specifically about that, but I know that like if you compound it down into the oil or whatever, and you inject that shit straight up, like it can help with cancer. I think that's
claim. I mean, Tommy Chong claims it cured his cancer.
That's how he did it.
But it's also Tommy Chong, so you gotta consider the source to a certain extent.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is true though. I mean, like when you go to the weed stores, you can get it in the type of form that is needed in order to treat, cancer and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can't hurt. And again, it certainly seems to, or I mean, at this point, I think it's undisputed that it helps with like quality of life for people that are suffering from cancers and stuff at the very least. So, at the very least, that shit. I mean, why keep that away from people if they want to try it?
Yeah, I know, dude. When they made it legal here, I mean, they took away all the medical rights that people had since it was established in like 96 or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff with that, right? I know that. I mean, basically, the whole medical side of it disappeared overnight almost as soon as they made it legal. And I hope that I don't know. I don't know any patients that use it, so I don't know if it made it worse or if it's still not bad for them or not.
I'm really not really well versed in it, to tell you the truth, dude, because like I was never like a medical I was just your common user.
And most people were. That's the thing too, where it's like for probably at least half, if not 70% of people, it was no big deal because they it was just an excuse anyway. But there certainly was probably serious people who seriously needed it, and hopefully they were still getting it at a discount or whatever.
Hopefully so. And the one thing though that like really bothered me though, I remember when we were passing the laws for it and stuff, was like the fact that you couldn't do home grow.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which it's, I mean, like, yeah, like technically it's still illegal, but like I know so many people that like will grow a plant, and like honestly, if a cop rolled up on you, they're like, oh yeah, you got a pot plant, like. Are they really gonna bust you? Like if you just grown a pot plant? I mean, I get they could.
I think everyone would hope not, right? I think almost everyone can agree that you would hope not. If it's very obviously, very obvious, maybe if you've got a fucking few acres of it somewhere that we think they'll have a conversation with them. But yeah, at this point, that was a weird thing. And that basically maybe seemed like a concession to like the Philip Morrises of the world or something like that, right? Because they knew that, I mean, people are going to make money off it, and they wanted to make sure that someone was going to make some money off of it.
Right. Right.
Well, and the government, how many billions has the government made on taxes, and no one can legally grow it on their own. Everyone that wants it has to go and be taxed at 30% or whatever it is. Yeah,
dude. And it's weird though. It's just like the way the markets worked for it, dude. Because like I remember when it first became legal, everybody was like, "Oh, the prices are going to go up so high." And I know I thought I was really fearful for a little bit, but like now, dude, like. I go get an eighth, dude, for pretty much more or less around the same price as what I was paying fucking 8 years ago. Maybe a little bit cheaper depending on what it is, because now we can have sales and stuff because there's one fucking, strain that you can purchase at the time.
Yeah, whatever they could get.
There's actually competition, I guess. Like,
I mean, it seems as though it's been a perfect example, actually, of like free market capitalism. I mean, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Again, I don't know if like Philip Morris is backing some of these companies or whatever, like, shady shit might be going on. But it seems like a lot of people that maybe not small, but medium to small business size people that put money into this, and they're competing with each other. And like you said, the prices were up at first and they went down, and there might still be, I remember there was like a time like last summer or something, maybe when they went up for a little bit, when there was a little bit of a shortage, but yeah, it seems like it's all kind of working itself out. Like you would imagine shit should in a free market.
Right. It's interesting to watch the market grow, man. And once it becomes legal on a national level, dude, that's because I was going to bring up is like, that was definitely a fear, was seeing these big corporations get in on the marijuana business and whatnot.
Right.
And, just
they're waiting on that probably in large part.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I guess you don't really see it at this point here, but like, yeah, definitely once it's legal on a national level, like whether that's Trump or whoever, and I don't know if Biden gets in, I don't know if Biden's going to fucking legalize weed. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't see why the fuck they don't.
Despite even know where he is at this point. Yeah. Not to be political.
Like,
neither of them know. Neither candidate is aware of his surroundings.
Exactly.
That's great. That's where we're at as a country. Is everyone happy now?
Yeah. But like I don't see why this, like, especially now with the whole COVID issue and like the economy's like we're on the verge of a fucking Great Depression. Like we need something to stimulate the fucking economy. We need something to stimulate our fucking markets. And it's like, well, okay, you want some, business and shit, like legalize marijuana throughout the United States, dude, and let people go to work.
Maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if right alongside the cigarettes you had just Philip Morris produced pack of joints and 7-Elevens. Yeah. I mean, it probably would be a boom for the economy, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, no, fuck those guys. I'm saying let people just open up their weed farms and fucking start growing weed.
Yeah.
All across
that's true too. Yeah. And let anyone that wants to get into the game. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know enough about any of this. Maybe it's good that it's not. Maybe it's because like this, again, in a very stupid way, I feel like the whole state to state thing is kind of good. Like, isn't that part of the idea of like the United, where like each state could kind of be their own like experiment?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just feels gross that someone could be in jail for something that someone, 40 miles across an imaginary line isn't in jail for. That's the part that like is that we need to figure that out. And I don't even, maybe in a lot of states it's not that bad anymore.
I've always argued the fact that, dude, all drugs should be legal, dude. They should all be legal and, like controlled, and we should sell them, and like people should be able to go to the store and get cocaine or get heroin or, do whatever, dude. Like, again, as a free individual, you should be in charge to do what you want to do and stuff. And like, you look at like where it has been decriminalized. And like there are a lot of like good arguments out there in terms of like lessening the the drug overdoses and the violence, and
sure,
it really there can be a benefit from regulating the market when it comes to all drugs.
Right. At the very least, there seems like there could be a happy medium between the war on drugs, Reagan style, like kicking people's door down and shooting dope heads in the face, and maybe a full on free for all where you have, I mean, in a lot of these fucking places. I haven't been to Seattle in a while, actually, but you would hear, especially before all this, that it was getting pretty fucking bad with just heroin addicts, or not, you know, to call them what you want. Unfortunate homeless people inflicted with the disease of heroinism or whatever, laying on the streets and throwing needles everywhere, you know, which if you're gonna have it legal, you're gonna have to also make sure you have probably more, or at least certainly more than we have now, like support system, so you don't have, you know, entire cities full of fucking heroin addicts, which we already seem to have in a lot of places.
Well, the country I was referencing, and I always fucking forget it, but now that I actually have like a legit internet connection, I can just look it up.
There you go, you pull it up.
Podcast, yeah. But Portugal is the first country that's decriminalized the possession of small amounts of drugs, which it's resulted in positive results. It says anyone's caught with any type of drug in Portugal, if it's for personal consumption, will not be in prison.
Well,
so as long as you're not selling drugs.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because you're not bogging down the system with people just like going through people's pockets for a crack rock. But at the same time, that's a little different than making it legal to set up a multi-billion-dollar heroin operation in Capitol Hill or whatever, you know. And that's you just got to find that fine line where I feel like a lot of places, you know, it gets a lot of flack and stuff, but a lot of places like Vancouver and stuff that have like safe injection sites and places where people can get clean needles. I mean, I could understand the argument of not having it, but at the same time, most of these people, it seems like most of the people that work with the homeless and the chronically addicted to drugs are going to tell you that they're going to fucking find a way to do it one way or another. And if you can make it slightly safer, it seems to be better for the community as a whole, you know? Yeah.
No, I agree, dude. And like, the thing is, man, like, you know, when you're talking about like the war on drugs, like back in the day with like Reagan and stuff, it's like, you know, I think that the way we've been going about it, treating it as a crime, is not the way to be treating it. It should definitely be like a public health type situation. You know, you should definitely be, instead of going to fucking prison for just using a drug, you know, you should definitely have the opportunity to seek treatment if you have an addiction problem, and or maybe other ways
even be forced into treatment, which is maybe not everyone should just be thrown into a cage with no treatment. Maybe be like, okay, you're going to prison, but you're going to a drug prison where we're going to, and I think a lot of, to their credit, I think a lot of prisons have implemented some stuff like this where okay, you're going to go to prison, we're going to force you to, if I could actually take the steps and, you know, try to get sober, go to the classes and stuff like that.
Oh, I understand, man.
But it's tough too, because that comes into like free will also, I guess, to a certain extent. True. Like, are you going to force someone to fucking read a book? Are you going to force someone to find a higher power? Because that's the type of stuff, that's the steps that you take, you know, right? If you're talking about AA and stuff. So it's like, you can't fucking force some, that's what that's what they say even in those circles, right? You can't force anyone to get sober at the end of the day.
No, 100%. I mean, like, and it really does come down to the individual wanting to, you know, get clean or, you know, to get help or whatever. But like, you know, just like we were talking about though, man, we look at the drug laws. I mean, we talk about, you know, and then again, we don't want to get political or anything, but, you know, we talk about, you know, the drug laws and the crime laws that are in place. I mean, it's definitely, you know, the government is not really set a precedent in terms of wanting to help the people out there that are getting in trouble for these fucking, you know, you know, really things that should not be costing them their fucking lives and their livelihood in regards to, you know, punishment for a fucking crack rock or whatever, you know, or like a thing of heroin, you know. Again, I'm not like really well versed on the laws and whatnot, but you know, you definitely just hear about people going, especially, I mean, maybe not now, but like at least back when we were kids and stuff, dude, like, you know, those drug laws were fucking hardcore, dude.
Oh yeah. And it seemed like they were certainly like disproportionately enforced in different areas that they wanted them enforced and stuff. So it's like, yeah, that certainly doesn't seem to be the best way to go about it. But then again, it is a very fucking complicated, nuanced problem. It's not just like, well, just let them fucking do whatever they want, because, you know, I mean, the fucking business owners have rights too. You know, we all have sympathy for everybody, but at the same time, you hear some horror stories out of San Francisco or Seattle and stuff before all this shit went down.
Bad, dude.
Yeah, we have to, you know, you're there to help those people, but you're also there to help business owners that don't want someone crashed in their fucking front awning all day, whacked out on heroin, you know? So it's at the very least, it's it's the perfect example of something that you can't just fucking have a Facebook argument about. You know, it's not one or the other. It's not black or white. It's a very complicated, nuanced problem that takes cooperation from all. It's the cops. It's community
community organizers.
Yeah, but also whoever they are. I mean, whatever. Yeah, it's
council.
everybody. It takes everybody. It takes doctors. You know, it's a fucking big problem, but it's not something that you could just be like, well, send the National Guard in. And it's also not something you be like, well, let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in between those two things, it seems, you know?
Yeah, there has to be, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, like we see the way the big cities are turning out, man. Like, you know, just a lot of people are just, you know, it's rampant, you know, the drug use is rampant in especially like you said, like Seattle and San Francisco and whatnot. And yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it really does come down to the individual and wanting, you know, to get help. And if they don't want to get help, well, at the end of the day, what can you do? And
even before that, you know, again, not to get political or whatever, I'm not judging anybody, blah, blah, blah. But like, there's you know, those people aren't just using drugs. There's a reason they're using drugs to begin with. Who knows what those people's childhoods were like? You know, it's just it's so like deep and insidious. You know, it's very and again, it's easier said than done, but it really does come down to just every individual's choice. Like you can't. If you have a kid, it's preferable that you try to raise them as best you can. And I guess a lot of these people probably did the best they could, and it didn't turn out too good. But like, I mean, it really comes down to, you know, how people, the where people are growing up and what they're seeing, and you know how they're being raised at the end of the day, right? I mean, some of it's from birth, like a weird chemical thing, but a lot of these people probably have horrible lives that lead them into more horrible adulthoods, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see just, you know, everybody has, you know, family members that are going through those types of situations where they, you know, because of the things that happened to them as a child or, you know, as an early adult, you know, unfortunately they chose drugs in a way to try to cope with those issues, man. And it's a lifetime battle at that point, dude. You know, and even dealing with those things, man, I mean, it's just dealing with situations like that are going to drive you to a drug. You know, it's unfortunate, man. It's really, I mean, and I guess that's like the dark underbelly of life, I guess. You know, you gotta.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's not even. Yeah, it's a classic story. We all look for something in the long run, But this got a little too dark. So to end it on a slightly lighter note, I don't know how this would work, but let's say the government says everyone can do one event a year. Now, I know the math probably doesn't pencil out, but let's not look too deep into it. Okay. So you can choose one event, be it a concert, stand-up, NASCAR race. What would be your one event that you think would be worthwhile going and doing? So like something I get to personally go to? Yes. And there'll be a crowd there. I don't know how that'll work. I wish like one person enough where it's imagine that each person can go to an event. There'll be just like old days. You can go to one event that's just like the old times. Well, shit. I mean, like selfishly, if I could perform, I'd want to go do an open mic or something, do some stand up. But I'd probably choose the Super Bowl. Dude, that's what I was just gonna fucking say, dude. The Super Bowl sucks. By all accounts, the Super Bowl sucks. As far as like if you want to go, to me, one of the first things I came about was just like a pivotal, maybe like a Seahawks playoff game, like an NFC Championship game in Seahawks Quest or whatever it's called right now. Century. Century. That's pretty good. Stand up came to mind, but I don't know if it'd be worth it because it's not. Like, even if you could go see Bill Burr or Chappelle or something. Oh, you did see Chappelle, didn't you? I did see Dave Chappelle, yes. Yeah. So what would that be? Would going and doing seeing Rogan and Chappelle at let's say the seats were even better. I was up in the fucking nosebleeds. Right. So it probably wouldn't make your top 5 in that case. But like, I don't know if that might be a waste as much as I love stand-up. I might even do like a Britney Spears concert in Vegas or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. Even if it's not my favorite thing in the world, it's just something fun. You know what I mean? Something just crazy. Well, could you choose something like different each year? So like one year you do the Super Bowl, the next year you do like say the Britney Spears concert. Like could you do that? That's possible. That's possible. Okay. I was thinking just first. I was just thinking what your first one would be. But yeah, we could maybe work something. I've got to roll with the Super Bowl, dude. Like, if we're just literally just gonna pick the very first one, it's got to be the Super Bowl, dude. Because like that. Yeah. If there's one thing like I'm thinking about right now, I'm like, fuck, dude, playoff or preseason is supposed to start next month. Like, dude, we're like weeks away. Game is tough to beat. I've had a couple exciting games at Quest or Central Link or whatever. That man, that raw emotion and that energy in the air is almost unparalleled from what I've experienced, but I haven't done much, so who knows.
I agree. Like the one time that I've been able to go and experience like a Seahawks game in person, like, and it was a complete blowout, dude. We blew out the Saints on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Like in prime time on Monday Night Football, dude.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, dude, like I was fucking so wasted, dude. Like
we just screaming
oh
into the sky with a fucking 30,000 other maniacs.
I had headphones in because I was going to try to listen to the radio while I was watching the game. And, even though there's delay or whatever, but like, dude, within 5 minutes of the game starting, I could not hear. Like, I had it on blast, dude. It's literally just white noise.
Oh yeah, I remember a couple of ones I went to. I literally didn't sit down, and you walk out, and your ears are ringing, your throat's sore.
Oh my god, dude!
Sucking on the dick. No.
Where?
Just in the bathroom, just chugging.
Oh god.
No.
I will say, dude. I will say, like going to a large stadium, dude. Like at least I don't know how the women's lines, the women's bathroom lines are, but a man's bathroom at a fucking stadium is so proficient, dude. They have this long just like do, and like you just go in there, take a piss, and get the fuck out, dude. Like
they understand. I mean, they don't even need. They should just have a giant hole in the ground. They don't even need the trough. They should. We would just go over the railing if we could. I mean, it doesn't even matter.
I'll piss in a bottle, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I probably have a couple times at some of those instances where it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to leave my seat. You set the cup right there. At least the Mariners games where it's a little less attended.
Oh god, I know you're just up there in the fucking nosebleeds just by yourself, dude. You're just like, fuck it. You gonna get on the
section to yourself.
Waving. I love those Mariners games, dude. I miss going to fucking Safeco or T-Mobile, dude. Like,
yeah, dude.
Fuck, man. That's what we should be doing this summer. Too.
And it's such a beautiful, I just like picturesque, even if they're fucking, in a already losing season in June or whatever. Just there's some of those nights where the sun's going down and fucking over the bay and Safeco. Yeah. It's just can't beat it.
Got a couple beers, just fucking chilling. $10 fucking 16-ounce pours.
Yeah, you spent $40 on 3 beers, and you feel pretty good.
I don't give a fuck, man. I like going to a park, dude, and drinking beers, dude. There's nothing better than drinking beers at a baseball game or any sporting event, whether it be like, one thing I do love though, like I got to experience here, like when the Sun Kings came back here for like 2 seasons, I got to go to like 2 games, dude.
That'd be fun.
And, like we just went there, dude. And like, actually I wasn't even drinking, dude, because I was going with a buddy of mine that doesn't drink. So like, we just went there. I got super stoned in the parking lot, but like he didn't know that. and dude, we just go in there, dude, and we just heckled the shit out of the players, dude.
Nice. That's good.
Heckled them. It was so much fun, dude. I love just yelling shit in a fucking game, dude. Like it's the best.
It is the best. Someday we will heckle again.
We'll get back there, dude. I'm telling you, man, we gotta go see me, you, Jack Hennessy, and Brian Brisky, dude. We're gonna go see Defy Professional Wrestling up there in Seattle, dude. Once all this shit's back. I've never been,
like I said, I think I went to a WCW in the Sun Dome when I was a kid, but that's not the same. It would be fucking awesome to go to one of those live.
It's punk rock, dude. Like we'll
maybe
just
WrestleMania. Maybe instead of maybe WrestleMania would be
no shit
pay-per-view like that, dude. That'd be pretty badass.
It pisses me off the most, dude, is like the fact that the Royal Rumble was supposed to take place from Safeco this coming year.
Oh,
that was the rumor. It was never announced, but the rumor was that it was going to be the West Coast. It was going to be a West Coast Rumble and WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was going to be in Los Angeles next year at the new stadium down there. And then they were going to have the Royal Rumble up in Seattle, dude. Which I was like, dude, I'm getting tickets. Dude.
That would be badass. That would be pretty fucking cool. Safeco too, with all the fireworks and everything. Yeah.
Well, they had WrestleMania 19 there, dude, and I was like 17 or some shit, dude. I had no money. I had no job, dude.
No car.
No car, dude. Now I'm like, fucking, I got a job and a car.
Just give me the ticket, baby.
Here's $500. Give me a fucking ticket, guys. Come on.
I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that one. I don't think I've watched that one. I'll have to check that out on the network.
Well, it's fun, dude. It's a really good WrestleMania, dude. Like
nice.
I have that. I actually own that on DVD, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking A, dude. Well, all right, Jay McNay, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, we'll have to do it again soon. I know, again, there's nothing going on, but any final plugs, any final words?
No. Just stay safe, have fun, get off Facebook, love your family.
That's it, man. Wise words from Jay McNay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Pizza Productions.